was evidently Lenny wrote a very nice letter. Rod was touched by it. He called him. And Len, the next time he went to Anaheim Stadium, the Big A.
Davis fields at first and does it himself, and Dykstra retired, second out of the inning.
And when Len was at the Big A the next time, looks like Davis left the ball on the ground.
Yes,
he did everything right but pick up the ball.
Where is it?
Whoops. Everything's right. Now he finds out that'll make the blooper film right there. Went for the old head fake.
I didn't see it, neither did he, until he had gotten to the bag and started to reach for it to throw it around, and it wasn't there. And now Dykstra aboard on the error. So things are just going downhill for the Astros right now. That is their second error of the ball game. The other being on a throw from Billy Hatcher in from center field. And that was pretty close. Anderson popped it to Davis. Calhoun is back up in the Houston bullpen. That was close.
That was also close to a balk by Larry Anderson. You got to step toward first. And a very, very close play. Dykstra could have been out, but a close call on the balk move by Larry Anderson.
Frank Pulley is the umpire on that side at first base. Wally Backman is at the plate. And one more time to first base. Backman has been a load tonight.
Excuse me, Keith. You've got to step toward first, and Larry Anderson hasn't stepped the last two times he's thrown the ball. He's very quick, has quick feet, but you do have to step toward first.
Lee Wire standing there looking right at him. Dykstra again goes out and hooks that lead foot on the rub. Goes. Pitch is swung on. Hit to the second baseman Doran. Throws to Davis at first for the out, but Dykstra going. They don't get the double play chance. 2 down now. And the batter is Hernandez. And they're going to put him on first.
Well, it's kind of a case of choose your poison. You don't want to bring Calhoun in to waste a pitcher. You're trailing by 5 runs. Gary Carter with a big double to put the Mets on the board this evening.
So the free pass to Hernandez intentionally at first base, with Dykstra up at second and 2 out, and Anderson then will work to Gary Carter. Calhoun stays active in the Houston pen, and Darwin now has come back to the dugout, and he's sitting down. But I don't think it'd take him very long to get ready to come back if he gets the call from Hal Lanier. First thing first. They got to stop the Mets from scoring more and then do some scoring themselves. Crowd is very quiet. Their team down by 5, and Ashby and Anderson now will have a talk. Base runner up at second.
Well, this is the first time that Anderson and Ashby have worked with a runner on second base. So Allen just going out to make sure they have the signs right. You can go through those signs all year long, and the 164th game of the year, you have to get them right.
44,391 in the Dome tonight. That's 260 more than we had last night. Ball one to Gary Carter. These teams off tomorrow. The American League plays out west, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Boston and California, and Carter at 1-1 on the foul back to the screen. See, the Mets have had 8 hits. They have scored 5, and they have left only 3 on base.
Yes.
Warming up for Halloween. A 1-ball, 2-strike count to Gary Carter. That ball is well hit. Hatcher moves over quickly and hauls it down, and the side is retired. So in the middle of the stretch inning, the 7th, the New York Mets very much in control, leading by a score of 5-0.
There are lots of new things going on in healthcare. And this new healthcare can be good.
You're late. It gets awesome as you go along, because the Mets, leading after 7 innings over the year, won 90 and 0 straight. That tells you something about their bullpen. We're going to have Terry Poole coming up now as a pinch hitter. 28 trips to the plate, has 8 hits, and Terry Poole was one of the stars of the 1980 series here against Philadelphia. But he was hurt and then hurt again. And Kevin Bass just getting better and better and better and better, and he's in right field, and Terry will come up as a pinch hitter. Native son of Canada.
He's from Melville, Saskatchewan. Never played high school ball. It's always amazed me that he's had such a good foundation in baseball without coming up playing it.
I would think you'd have a short season in Saskatchewan. 2 balls and no strikes.
Not a lot of warm, hot, humid days up there.
Ball loose in the pen again. Aurelio Lopez is now up in the Houston bullpen. So they've had Darwin up, they've had Calhoun up, and now Lopez is out there. Top of the order, Billy Hatcher and Bill Doran to follow Terry Poole. Inside corner, Ojeda has had him off balance all night. He has given them 7 hits, but he has given them no runs. And you are watching a craftsman. He doesn't have the 95-mile-an-hour fastball, but he is a pitcher.
He has won more games this year than in any other professional season. His high coming in 15 back in Winter Haven, Florida in 1979.
Thru sharply to right field. Base hit. Single as Strawberry is up with it quickly. And so once again, Houston has the leadoff man aboard. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 successive innings. They've had their leadoff man aboard, and they haven't been able to do anything with him.
And Hernandez couldn't do anything with that ball. It was hit too sharply. It stayed down. Terry Poole now 11 for his last 20 in League Championship Series play.
And Billy Hatcher with a single and 3 trips at the plate. Will pop up, coming back. Gary Carter to the screen, and it's on the wire. Gary Carter has had so many injuries, so many operations, wrapped around so many times, 3 knee operations. You'd think he'd blink when he walked.
His most recent knee operation last October, right after the season. And I think that's one of the big reasons that he was not coming out of the chute earlier in the season and throwing runners out. But his knees are fine now.
Bouncing ball, shortstop Santana. Second, they've got one. First, no. Hatcher with good speed. He is on at first, but they retire that lead runner Poole at second base. And here comes Bill Doran. Finally came up with a single to put some numbers in the hit column, a number in the hit column in the series. This in his last at bat. That's a number toward Hernandez at first. He'll do it himself. And Hatcher moves on down to second, 2 down. Boy, I tell you, Ojeda took the crowd out of it early. And it has been a quiet 44,000 plus.
Ojeda and Gary Carter. Gary Carter, of course, last night 0 for 4, striking out 3 times. He struck out his first time tonight, and then the big booming double in the 4th inning to score the first 2 runs of the series for New York.
Now the first activity in the New York bullpen. Roger McDowell is up and throwing. Houston batting in the bottom of the 7th inning. Garner stings it to right center. Here's Houston's first run of the ball game as Hatcher comes around from second to score. And now it's Glenn Davis.
Bill Garner's first hit of the series, a first pitch fastball, and he goes with it and hits it to right center field. Hatcher scoring easily. Houston on the board.
It is now 5-1. And Ojeda's throwing strike. Not going to give him a free pass, and that time Garner jumped it. And Davis looks at it. Off-speed pitch on the corner.
I think normally if McDowell were ready, Johnson would bring him in right now, but he has not been up long enough.
Davis hits it sharply to the shortstop Santana. They get the lead runner coming down, and though Backman had a little trouble holding the ball, and Garner questioned as to whether or not he did hold it, apparently he did, and Garner is called out. And so we played 7 innings in game number 2 of the National League Championship Series, and the New York Mets sitting on a 5-1 lead. And we'll be back after this message from your local stations.
The hitters will release that top hand and swing one-handed and hit a ball a long way. But when you flail at it one-handedly, as Strawberry did on that screwball, that's what you don't like to see. That's the difference in being fooled and really airing one out.
So Mookie Wilson has broken his drought. Ray Knight broke his in his last at bat with a single. 1 out, and Mookie's going and gone. Easy. Pitch was way outside. Ashby had no chance. Just knocked it down, and out of the corner of his eye, watched Wilson fly into second base. Want to put Knight aboard now with first base open. And pitch to Santana. Having the man on first base obviously gives the opportunity for more readily so for the double play.
And I think Hal Lanier saw down in the Mets bullpen that no one was warming up, that Davey Johnson was going to bring in the game. Doug Sisk and Randy Neiman are warming up, but they're getting their throwing in. McDowell is set down, but McDowell is warm enough if Johnson elects to pinch hit for Bobby Ojeda. And we'll see what happens.
Nobody out there right now. Knight aboard, Santana at the plate. 1 out. Right. Neiman, the left-hander, Sisk, the right-hander. Ojeda's now out in the on-deck circle. Swing and a miss by Santana. Scroogey, then a slider. Scroogey, then a slider. Two-strike pitch coming. On the ground to the shortstop. Fine. Doran turns it around, and they don't get him at first base. Santana with good speed.
This ball was not hit sharply enough to get Santana, who has about average speed. Nice try on the takeout slide by Knight, but Santana just beats the throw to first.
And Mookie Wilson is over at third base now with 2 out. And Ojeda at the plate. Fouls it away. Got a pretty good cut. Not timid. Senor Smoke. Lifted to left, and Jose Cruz makes the catch. And the side is retired, and Wilson is left at third, and so it rolls right along. Middle of the 8th inning, it is 5-1 Mets. For Houston, and Ojeda still throwing slower, and slow-fist. But he's really got him reaching and fishing. Kerfell now is up at the Houston pen throwing some, along with Calhoun. The Mets pen now has gone quiet. Someone with a program, and you'd see Jose's picture right there in the middle of the page. 39 years of age. He's had a brilliant career. And that's just low. One of the few players around today that lifts that front foot entirely. Mel Ott became famous for it, because Mel could also hit the ball out of town.
Tadahiro O became famous for it in Japan, too.
Yeah. He, too, could hit it out of town.
Or could he hit a fastball? We had a chance with the Cardinals in 1968 after the season to go to Japan and play 18 games. Played against O. He was appropriately named. You saw him swing and you said, oh.
That's fouled back out of play. I did a couple of all-star games, Japanese all-star games over there, and I saw him a couple of times. Somewhere in the duffel bag, I've got a home run ball, a ball he hit for a home run. You know, they throw it back over there. Somebody brought the ball and gave it to me as a souvenir. Foul back again. 3 balls and 2 strikes now to Jose Cruz. And Ojeda has just dominated this ball game. Jose's right knee is still a little stiff from the arthroscopy back in April. The only injury the man has had in 15 years in Major League Baseball. Again, he fouls it back. I tell you, if you can play 15 years in the major leagues and have only 1 injury and able to solve it as well as he solved his, you've been very fortunate.
He was drafted for $20,000 from the St. Louis Cardinals back in 1974.
3-2 pitch popped up. There may be a play for Carter here. He waves him off, and he will make the play on it in foul ground for the second out. The pitchers for the Saturday game: Bob Knepper, the left-hander, with a fine season, 17-12, and Ron Darling, native son of Hawaii, who came out of Yale to the major leagues with a 15-6 record on the year. It'll be a left-hander and a right-hander.
And Bob Knepper 3-1 against the Mets this year. Pitched very, very effectively against New York.
He was really very strong in the first half of the season and had a hard time winning his 10th game, but he finally got it. And Ashby looks at a slow change that's up. Swing and a miss. Story on Ojeda. The Red Sox, when they signed him, gave him a $500 bonus and a plane ticket to go from California up in that Santa Ynez Valley, which is one of the pretty places in the world, to Elmira, New York, to start his baseball career. So with the bonus, he went out and bought himself a new pair of shoes and a suit, took off, said he wanted to look nice, and he can afford a lot of suits right now and a lot of shoes as he fields that little bouncer back to the mound and throws him out and retires the Houston Astros in order in the bottom of the 8th inning. So we are headed for the top of the 9th with the Mets leading by a score of 5-1. Doing that because people get up and leave early because they want to beat the traffic. Only problem is 20,000 of them are leaving right now.
The ones that stay technically beat the traffic.
That's right. Len Dykstra, the top of the order, with Wally Backman and Keith Hernandez to follow, and Aurelio Lopez stays on the mound for the Houston Astros. The Mets leading 5-1, and unless Houston comes up with some big thunder and lightning in the bottom of the 9th inning, they're going to go back to New York 1-1. And give me your opinion of that, Tim.
Well, obviously, it's an advantage for the Mets. I think the Mets wanted to come down here and win at least one game. They were going against the two best pitchers, arguably the two best pitchers in the National League.
Base hit for Dykstra. Ball goes through the gap, goes to the wall, and Dykstra's at second base with a double.
So when you're facing Scott and Ryan in a two-game stint, you really want to win at least one ball game. Naturally, both clubs. I mean, the playoffs, it's one rationalization after the other. If you go home down by 2 games, you say, well, now we're playing in our home park. If you go home even, you say that's what we wanted to do. And the Astros are probably saying the same thing.
With that line drive that went to the wall by Dykstra, Calhoun and Kerfeld are back up in the Houston bullpen. And Lopez earns a strike in to Backman. Ball is bunted, popped up, and the catcher Ashby comes out to make the catch. And Aurelio was happy to let him have it. With one down, Dykstra at second base. Rick Aguilera is throwing in the New York pen, but he too is just getting some work. I don't think there's any premise for him to make an appearance in the game, and they're going to put Keith Hernandez on first base intentionally. It'll be the second successive time they've walked him intentionally.
Yesterday in our pregame comments, we talked about the importance of Dykstra and Backman getting on base. Backman with 2 hits tonight, Dykstra with 2 hits. You can talk about Keith Hernandez and Gary Carter and Darryl Strawberry, the power hitters in the middle of the lineup. But if the Mets don't get Dykstra and Backman on, they don't win.
Hernandez now goes to first base with 1 out. Setting up your, again, double play possibility. And Hal Lanier's coming out of the bullpen, and he wants Charlie Kerfeld with Gary Carter coming to the plate. The big right-hander from Carson City, Nevada, comes jogging toward the mound. The blithe spirit of the Houston Astros. And that's gentle. He's a character. But I'll tell you this. He can throw the high hard one. We'll be back after this commercial message and the word from your local station. 5-1.
Lyle L.
Failing 5-1. And Ojeda has just absolutely controlled it, even though they picked up 9 hits. There's been hardly any question of what he has been the boss man tonight. Dickie Thon will lead off for the Astros. Davey Lopes will hit for the pitcher. And then you'll have Billy Hatcher.
Bob Ojeda really credits former manager Ralph Houck, who was a manager with the Boston Red Sox from 81 through 84, with really encouraging him and sticking with him through some tough spots. And it's interesting to note that Hal Lanier, the manager of the Astros, also gives the major credit.
Thon takes low. It's amazing. You go through the ranks of baseball people and find how many point a finger at Ralph Houck having an impact on their career. Not only their career, but their life. The major was all right. Yes, indeed. And he was, again, that pebble in the big pond. Struck a lot of people. Thon hits it sharply. Santana can't come up with it. Leadoff man is aboard. So the crowd remaining takes heart to that, and Davey Lopes will come up.
Well, you can't say the Astros haven't had the opportunities. They have had a ton of base runners all night. They've stranded 10. They have had the first runner on in 4 of the last 5 innings.
Well, they have been dramatic. They won 24 total in the last at bat. Davey Lopes came here from the Chicago Cubs, went to Chicago from Los Angeles when the Dodgers started changing their team, rebuilding. Hernandez playing in behind Thon over at first base. That's a shot. Great play. Santana over to first. Double play. Now you see why he's out there with a .218 batting average. That kind of glove. Yeah, I forgot Oakland in Davey Lopes' travels, didn't I?
Well, Dickie Thon just frozen at first base. He doesn't know whether this ball is going to be caught in the air. A nice backhanded pickup by Santana. On the artificial surface, those short hops are not nearly as difficult as on natural grass.
And Billy Hatcher now is the last man with 2 down, and the base is empty for the Astros. Low. Ojeda working very quickly. Tonight's game produced by Peter Lasser, directed by Craig Janoff, our technical director Rich Gilbert, associate director Dick Buffington, our technical manager Bill Freiberger. Broken bat. Ray Knight at third. This could do it. Game's over. And the New York Mets have evened the series at 1-1 with Bob Ojeda, the dominant figure in tonight's ball game. Pitching, he gave up 10 hits, but he kept them scattered, and most of them came at times when it meant nothing offensively. And so the Mets beat the Astros in game number 2 by a score of 5-1. So they head for game 3 in New York on Saturday, all even.
When me and my buddies head off to West Texas, nothing works like my Chevy S10.
Once again, your final score as Bob Ojeda pitches a strong ball game. Mets 5, Astros 1. Ojeda the winner, Ryan the loser, and they're all even at 1-1. Game number 2 of the National League Championship Series brought to you by the heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. By RCA, creators of video technology that excites the senses. And by Contel, Big company communications for companies of all sizes. Stay tuned for ABC News Nightline immediately following your late local news. Tonight on Nightline, 2 million people starving to death because both sides in the Sudanese civil